Welcome back to the Rounding Third podcast. When you're hearing this recognizable voice, it can only mean one thing. Softball season is here. This is Happy Game Week. Got a new host for us this year. The one, the only, the All-American, the consensus All-American, Sierra Sacco. Sierra, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
So Sierra's, as many know, has had quite the offseason. Just got back from Australia. We'll hit into that a little bit later with Team USA stuff. But played 2 years with us, held down center field for us. All SEC, all region, all American, like we mentioned. Fifth overall pick in the draft this year. Her and another Diamond Dog, Raylan Chafin, were both drafted to the AUSL Talons, who went on to win the inaugural AUSL National Championship or World Championship or
one of those.
One of the championships. Nonetheless, you won a championship this summer with the pro team, so outstanding job there. And so kind of tell us a little bit, what's it been like for you since you left Mississippi State and News Park and started entering that next phase of your career?
It's honestly just a crazy experience altogether. Like, I'm playing with my idols pretty much, and every day I'm just starstruck. So it's like playing softball, but also playing softball with a bunch of celebrities. So it's crazy every day.
That's good stuff. We've had, I think, a new professional player every year since 2022. We're going to have another pro player going to join us here in a little bit. The woman that needs no introduction, Mia Davidson, SEC single season home runs queen, 92 career home runs. Once upon a time on the show, Brian will remember this, I credited her with an extra home runs. We talked about 93 for a while, but then we had to realize, hey, it was actually 92. But nonetheless, still the SEC single season home run record holder, All-American in her own right. A championship holder as well. We'll kind of hit on some of that a little bit later on in the show. But welcome. Glad to have Mia. She'll be joining us here via Zoom in a little bit. And you two will kind of get to play together. So that's going to be unique with you guys now joining the Cascade out of Portland, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So have a little bit of a West Coast, kind of a Northwest flair to the league this year. So it'd be good to kind of tour some more parts of the country. You traveled a good bit last year, but mainly based out of Chicago, but kind of got to hop around and see a lot of different things. So pretty cool experience with the travel. We like to travel. Coach Ricketts likes to travel. We kind of travel for a living in some ways, kind of traversing all across the country, sometimes the world, and we'll kind of get into those in a little bit too. But speaking of Coach Ricketts, big news that was released today, something that we kind of knew, behind closed doors the last few weeks, but just got released today. She's going to be the head coach of the American Samoa national team. So that team has been invited already to play in the World Cup in Canada this summer, and then also the International Challenge in Oklahoma City after PGF and Alliance. So tip of the cap to the old ball coach there, Coach Ricketts. I know she'll do a fantastic job. Believe she's assembled her staff, so pretty good staff that she's got with her too. And one thing we know about home runs, there's been a lot of really powerful Samoan players that have come through hitting a lot of home runs. Some of the girls off our team are going to join her, Matalasi Fa'apito, Chloe Malau-Ulu, just to name a few. Some that have been, certainly littered throughout our record books in the terms of hitting the long ball too. So excited about that. We'll dive into that kind of as we get a little bit going as well. But it's game week. It's hard to believe it's already here, but here we are, getting ready to leave to go to Waco, Texas, playing the Baylor Bears. We're going to open up in the Ketterman Classic this weekend with Baylor and Wichita State and Northwestern State and New Mexico. So exciting times ahead for us and ready to hit the ground running. And, as I like to say, and Brian quotes me sometimes, we're on the road to find out. Little shout out to Bill Balder there from EMCC a long time ago. Used to always say that. So what are you excited about, Sacco, as we kind of look into this next part of the season? Now you on the other side, you're not in uniform anymore. Now you're going to be part of the staff. So kind of what are some things you're looking forward to this week as we hit the road?
Well, I'm just excited to see, like the younger ones step up and take on more of a leadership, a starter role. I'm looking forward to see all of our transfers compete. I know we brought in six, and they're all quality people and athletes. So I'm excited to see all of them just compete and get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit on that a minute ago. I think one of the publications had it as the number 3 ranked transfer class in the country. So certainly excited about this heralded group coming in to go along with our 6 signees too from the fall, 6 incoming freshmen coming in. So 12 new players on the team. So there's going to be some new faces, but also some players that are going to be able to come in and contribute right away. So excited to see some of the arms in the circle. There's 3 arms that have come in. I've got an outfielder to come in too from Utah State, all conference player from Utah State. Anna Carter, defensive player of the year in her conference at Southern Illinois, and then the 2-time SoCon pitcher of the year in Peja Gold to go along with that as well. So Des Rivera, another big-time arm behind the plate, really good catcher, World Series experience from her days at Oregon State. So excited to have her coming in as another catcher for us too. So, yeah, it's going to be some new faces. You know, the last 2 years it's been you in the leadoff spot. So we'll kind of tinker with the lineup some, as Coach Ricketts likes to do as we get into this week and kind of figure out, you know, who's going to go where and kind of let the lineups kind of, you know, rock and roll and see who's going to perform when the lights come on and see what all this training the last few months has done to help pay off this year. Kind of getting into some of the recruiting notes here. Number 3 in the nation, according to 643 charts, and they like to use the WAR stat when it comes to ranking these classes. State's 17.43 WAR added was tied for the most in the Southeastern Conference, along with Tennessee. Bulldog catchers finished with a combined 6.07 defensive runs saved. Little DRS nugget there in 2025. Anna Carter and Des Rivera combined for 10.42 DRS last season. So pretty strong numbers there behind the plate, in addition to having a lot of innings under their belt over the course of their career. The largest defensive upgrade, 0.435 at any position on the team this year, and it's the second largest improvement by a catching unit in the SEC. Kentucky leads the way with a .632. Excuse me, a plus 6.32, my bad. The bullpen saw its combined wins above replacement total climb from 5.68 to 11.17. So that's a positive of 5.49. It's the second largest WAR improvement of any position group of any team in the SEC, and the best by any SEC bullpen. So I know Coach T is excited to have some horses in the pen down there, and I think you really the depth you see kind of throughout the bullpen too, something that we really wanted to address this offseason when it came to looking at the portal and looking at possible prospects that could come in and fill the need for us there. Being able to have some quality depth, we're certainly excited about that. And the 3 arms that we brought in, we mentioned them a second ago, all were the aces of their staff. So bringing in 3 quality arms that have big-time experience, have thrown a lot of innings, they know what it's like to go through the Division I slate. So really excited to see them in the maroon and white. I know our hitters are excited to face somebody else. These last few weeks of inter-squad games have, you know, we're ready to see somebody other than Peja throwing her spinny stuff and Brinkley throwing gas, a freshman that we haven't talked about yet. Somebody that's a super hard throwing righty coming to us by way of Northwest Arkansas. So really excited to see some different faces on hopefully some other colored uniforms in the next few days, and really excited to see what our hitters can do with some new competition as well. We mentioned Mia Davidson. I know Mia's kind of hanging out in the old waiting room. We're going to have her pipe in here in a second on the Zoom. But Mia Davidson, welcome back. Welcome to the show. It's been a 2-year hiatus since you were over here beside me. So welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited for this, you know. And like you said, I haven't been back to Starkville in a while, so hopefully I can get up there soon.
Have you had a chance to talk to your new teammate much? I know you were with the Bandits originally, and then, of course, you played in Japan, and really you played all over the world, Guatemala, Argentina. You've kind of been everywhere. You and you in Australia, too. Y'all probably can share some notes on those flight patterns with as much times as y'all have traversed the old Pacific Ocean there. But have you had a chance to kind of to link up with Sierra some and do some team Zooms and that kind of thing as you guys get ready for the summer?
Team Zooms. We actually had one yesterday with our team for the Cascade, but this summer, when I was a facilitator, when I was injured, I got to get to know Sacco a little more. So we have been acquainted. She's not too bad.
Well, thank you. That's a compliment from you. We did a lot of Monopoly deal with Loza, so we know each other.
There you go. You guys, y'all had just missed each other. Even Mia hung around as a GA one of the years. I think she had just missed crossing in with you. So certainly good to have another All-American on the show, All-American with you. We had Maddie Kennedy kind of sandwiched between the both of you from an All-American standpoint. So certainly excited about the lineage of the pro players. That's now our 28th pro player, matter of fact. And Brian had a nice little nugget a minute ago, kind of getting back to Coach Ricketts and the American Samoan team. There's really been kind of a pipeline of some Polynesian players that have come through the program. And it really kind of circles around Sarai New, the recruitment of Sarai New from right outside of San Diego, a little town called Chula Vista, Cathedral Catholic High School, very prominent high school in the San Diego area. Her brother wound up playing college football. I believe he was at Oregon for a couple of years. So Sarai, she was kind of the first one of the modern Starkville Samoans. And one thing we know about the lineage there is a lot of those players know each other, or they might be related, or they have an aunt that knows somebody. There's such a tight-knit community. And Sarai kind of kickstarted the wave we've had, and now we've had at least one Polynesian player in the last 10 years. But Sarai kind of kickstarted that, and I can remember doing coffee with her and her family. That was back when the recruiting rules were a little bit different in terms of when you could start talking to players and that sort of thing. And we did a little off-campus contact there when I was out in California talking to them and trying to get her to come out on a visit. She was a highly recruited player. A lot of teams were after Sarai knew, and she ultimately chose the Bulldogs. And just such a great family. Got to meet all them when I was out there, and that kind of led to Chloe Malaulu kind of going backwards a little bit. Sarai and Coach Ricketts, of course, having some Samoan ancestry too. Sarai kind of knew Chloe a little bit, and then Coach Ricketts and I did a camp, and Chloe happened to be there kind of a couple years after that. Well, Chloe committed to us like 2000, I don't know, probably about a year after Sarai started playing. So Chloe committed to us a couple years before she actually showed up on campus. This is back when you could commit before your junior year. So Chloe was kind of the next one in that wave. And Chloe's dad knew Fa's family very well. So even though Chloe wasn't here yet and Fa was going to be a transfer from Arizona State, that was kind of a connection that brought Fa in. So our relationship with Chloe and her family helped bring in Fa Leilua in. Of course, Fa became an All-American for us too, hit a bunch of home runs. Her and Mia became dubbed Thunder and Lightning. Rafael Palmero kind of dubbed them the two as Thunder and Lightning. And Mia hit 26 that year, and Fa had 23 that year and went on to have a very strong professional career too. But that kind of led to, kind of backwards. It was Sarai, then young Chloe, then kind of older Fa. And now you got the Sale sisters, and it's just been quite a fun group of Samoan players we've had coming through. Matalasi Fa'apito, who's still with us. Man, the first week she had throwing BP, it was kind of a struggle. I think she hit about 7 of our players, and now she's money. And, of course, she hit 18 home runs her first year, too, transferring to us from New Mexico State. So had a big home run in that super regional, the one that Mia's senior year. So certainly we've had a lot of really fun times with our Starkville Samoan sisters. It's always good to have Samoan Heritage Day. We do that in the spring. So get the lays out. You'll see, the coaching staff wearing some lays. And so really, really fun, and kind of being able to bring that Starkville Samoan heritage, that's hospitality down here to Start Vegas. So, Mia, you played overseas and you spent some time with Athletes Unlimited as an individual. What has been the biggest difference you've seen with the AAUSL as it's continued to grow so quickly?
I think just like camaraderie, you actually have a team and you're stuck with them the whole season, which I kind of missed that with AUSL a little bit. Like, I love the individual at sometimes, but sometimes it get hard. But having a team and really building that chemistry and having that camaraderie, I was excited to see that this year with AUSL.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And, you're thinking of AUSL, your first at bat. I'm out in California recruiting, and I'm getting these ESPN alerts, and it's Sierra Sacco of the Talons hits the first home run in AUSL history. I'm like, man, this is wild. That all the other coaches that I know are out there, they're like, Brad, did you see this? Everybody's phone's kind of going up with you hitting the home run. I think MLB Network took it, ran with it. The MLB app kind of had it all over there. So what was that moment like for you? Somebody that came into us, not really a home run hitter. You might have had 1 or 2 your junior year, and then you just boomed into double-digit home runs your senior year. But kind of what was that moment like, coming in a pro player and having the first career home run in the new AUSL?
It was honestly just crazy. I knew Lexi Kilfoyle was a drop ball pitcher, and I know Zach is always like, just swing underneath it. So I'm like, okay.
I mean, it's easy, right? It's easy.
Underneath it. Exactly. Like, it's just that easy. So I kind of just went up there with that approach, like keeping it light. Like, there wasn't many expectations for me. So I just went in there, swung under it, and it happened to go out. So it was crazy. Love it.
Does the ball fly pretty good in Chicago?
Absolutely not.
It does not.
The field is so big. The ball is so heavy. It's just a totally different game.
We were lucky enough to go up there and play Northwestern during the regular season. It was like the last week of March. It was their home opener. And of course, we land in Chicago, and there's 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground, and there's snow up against the outfield fence. We're like, what do we get ourselves into? We're in the frozen tundra. And we ended up scoring like 30 runs that weekend. And we actually hit a lot of home runs. So it's kind of crazy that I didn't fly that summer, because on a cold, windy day, it really flew. And of course, Key Sales, another Samoan player from us, kind of comes to mind with one of, I think they said at the time, 9 home runs ever at that field have gone on top of the gym. And she hit one. I think still flying.
Yeah.
Like, matter of fact, I just heard it land. But I mean, she just launched that one. And that was a big weekend. A team that wound up, making a good run in the Clemson regional. I think them and Clemson went extra innings, 9-inning ball game, and Clemson wound up pulling away and advancing to the supers. But a really solid team. Northwestern, I think at the time they were the reigning Big Ten champs 3 years in a row. So good series for us on the road that year. But I guess a little foreshadowing there for you, seeing the long ball that weekend. You get to see some more of your own. And of course, the Bandits, when Ricketts played, she was with the Racers. The Bandits were a big team out there. They've kind of always had a big presence in the professional softball realm. But that's who you guys ended up playing in the finals in Tuscaloosa this year, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, all right. Got the big win. You had a key run, key bang play at the plate, slid head first, something we talk about a lot. Going in head first, it's quicker for those watching back home. So it was a big play for you to be there, to be safe. It was a huge run in that game. And that was a place right down the road from us. So there's a lot of folks from Strawford that could just ride over to Tuscaloosa. It's actually a closer rival to us than Oxford is, when you think about the University of Alabama. So a lot of fans here. I know our staff went over there to go watch you play, you and Raylan, and that was pretty special to be able to kind of celebrate that championship right here in the backyard of SEC country. Moving along. Let me see where Mia, you still there?
I was here.
You were very quiet. I thought I might have lost you there for a second.
Conversation.
Well, I know this is a big week. I know our girls Sunday at the basketball game kind of got recognized as kind of a twofold. One, let fans kind of know about our season coming up, and we're hosting a big tournament next weekend at home for week 2 of the regular season. But it kind of kicks off this week of National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. So our girls been able to throw out T-shirts on Sunday. It's been such an awesome experience. Somebody from my background, coming from the baseball side, really seeing the growth in the women's sports, particularly our softball program in the last 12 or 13 years that I've been a part of that. It's just really done this in the Strawford community. But what does it mean when you get to be a player and you get to be on this level, and all these little girls are looking up to you and they're asking you questions, they're wanting to sign autographs after the game and all that stuff. What does it mean to you kind of being an ambassador for National Girls and Women's in Sports Day and kind of being somebody that the future players can look up to?
It means everything. Like, honestly, I remember being that little girl going to LSU games, being from Louisiana. So I just always try to, sign everybody that's there, try to give everything I have every game, because I know they might only be able to make 1 or 2 games. So I just try to do my best and play my part in such a little small part that I have. So I try to play my role as best I can.
That's awesome. Mia, what about you? What does it mean for you to kind of be an ambassador now? You've been a diamond dog really since about the 8th grade, and now here your fingerprints are still all over the program. But what does that mean to you when you think about your time as a player here in Strawford and all the little girls? You had so many fans of yours that came through and watched you both here and on the road. What's it kind of meant to you to kind of be an ambassador there for National Women and Girls in Sports Day as well?
Yeah, I think just showing all these girls there's so much opportunity for them for the future. Like, our game is growing drastically year by year, and the fact that we can do this as a job and professionally, and just give the girls hope that one day maybe they can be in our shoes and really inspire them to do so.
Mia, of all your places you've been all over the globe playing softball. What's kind of been the highlight of your career as a professional athlete up until this point?
I don't know. I think just softball giving me the opportunity to literally travel the world and play the game I love. I love playing in Japan. Japan's like a totally different type of ball game compared to the States. Just seeing how different cultures play the game, it's really like humbling experience in a way, because like in Japan when you play, we have after like practicing games, we like have to do our own fields. We have to clean the balls, and you don't realize sometimes how spoiled you are, especially like in college and in pro, until you go to a different country and you have to like have your own equipment and do your own things. So it's a very humbling but also very grateful experience, honestly.
I can imagine with you and your sister growing up, y'all probably had quite a few battles in the backyard with your mom and dad, kind of setting the stage for the bottom of the 7th, trying to walk off, a team to win the national championship. Kind of what was that like having, in your case, an older sister that kind of helped bring you along as well as you guys were growing up?
She just prepared me for everything. Like, she always kept things competitive. We're like totally different types of players. She always like kept me in my place when I needed to. She made me better. I think honestly, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have come in as a freshman ready to go, because she kind of set the stepping stones and understand what needed to happen and what things needed to do. So honestly, she was the person that helped me through it all.
something about those younger sisters too. You look at Coach Ricketts, she's the oldest of four in her family. And of course, there's two other sisters too. The middle sister, Stephanie, went to the World Series with the University of Hawaii. And then, of course, the youngest sister, Kaylani, all she did was win a couple of national championships and two-time National Player of the Year. And, been in the pro league forever, still playing. Which team was she with this summer?
The Blaze.
So she was with the Blaze. Yeah. So, I mean, she's been doing it for quite a while now. Great decorated career at the University of Oklahoma. At one time, broke Coach Ricketts' RBI record. Ricketts had it for a long time, and then Kaylani broke it. Then I think Chamberlain then re-broke it, and probably Allo re-broke it. But been quite a lineage of Ricketts players. The brother's the one that kind of gets overlooked, and he was a college football player at the Air Force Academy. So, but something about those younger sisters, and Mia can attest to that. Kind of having that older sister, Montana, pushing her along the way and getting her ready. But it's so exciting to see the pro players, and now we've had 28 of them that have come through Mississippi State, and you think about really the program kind of getting kickstarted again in 1998. We had the early years of the 80s. Then there was a big gap where there wasn't a team at Mississippi State, and then it kind of got going again in the late 90s. The Olympics in 1996 had a big part to do with that. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. And matter of fact, a lot of the softball games were played in Columbus, Georgia, so just about an hour and a half away from Atlanta. So that probably helped lead to a lot of the SEC influence and like, hey, we gotta get this back. We gotta make this a big thing. And you're kind of starting to see that really take hold in the Southeastern Conference. You look at how good the league is, top to bottom, and the national champions that have kind of come through here, and adding Texas, the champs this year, and Oklahoma the year before that. All we did was get stronger when we brought those two to the SEC. So if you're looking back into 1998, the blueprint stage is now where it is. I mean, it's been so exciting to see that growth. And yeah, 28 players. I mentioned a minute ago, we've had one every year since 2022. Annie Willis had a breakout season for us her senior year to go on and get drafted. Chloe Malau-Ulu the following year. In 2023, Madison Kennedy is All-American the next season. Transitioned from shortstop to first base, and man, she lit it up. One of the top OPS players in the country that year. So she was drafted, went on and played in 24. Then, of course, you and Raylan in 25. So say all that to say this. A lot of the players, they just kept getting better and better and better. What is it about Mississippi State that kind of helps bring along that talent, helps develop in the players to where they can go on and be professional athletes?
Well, I think all three of y'all do just a great job of just pouring into y'all's players and like sticking with them. Like I didn't come in as a home run hitter or even a power hitter. So y'all just really take the time and actually develop people and like take time with the swing, the mechanics, the reps. Like everything is just so intentional and actually helps you take another step of already being a good athlete coming in. And then you take another step of being great.
Good stuff. Love to hear that. What about you, Mia? Kind of what's something that you can shed into your development as you came through? You're a 4-year player for us and a starter from day one. Kind of what was that development piece like for you as you donned the maroon and white?
Yeah, I think just coming in kind of like what Sacco said, just developing over time, especially with me with the mental game. Y'all were there to really keep me strong, and I think every year I got better mentally, just like being stronger, what to look for, to be more disciplined. And even outside of softball too, like y'all care for us, not just players, but as people. And that like really takes notice, and we really cherish that too. I think that also helps develop players into becoming pro players, because at the end of the day, we're not just softball players. We're also like strong women. And the fact that we can do that and be a professional, it's pretty incredible.
That's awesome. Appreciate you saying that. It was yesterday, and Mia scoring the game winner run to beat Florida State in Game 7 of the regional final. And it was such a exciting moment for our program. So we had been so close to taking that step. And at the time, that was the first time a number 2 seed had lost a regional, and it was when the Dogs came to town. And it was a very fun week. Dogs got hot. Had a good run of the Supers that year. 1 game away from the College World Series. So really kind of seeing a lot of the fruits of the labor kind of paying off with that. But the development piece is first and foremost. I think that's something that you've seen kind of throughout the last several years, really. And it's only taken another step forward with Coach Ricketts at the helm. You're really starting to see the players really taking off. And a lot of that kind of trickles down from the athletic director and the administration all the way down, the support they give, the place to being able to have a studio like this to do podcasts and kind of do some of that from a professional development piece that's not necessarily on the field training, but that's stuff that's going to help you out when you have a microphone in your face later on. So, hopefully the Olympic thing is something that that takes off with American Samoa. I know Coach Ricketts is excited to have a chance to compete for that. And it's going to be good to have the Olympics back in the U.S. It's been a while since we had it in the U.S., but Los Angeles 2028, that'll be here before we know it. I mean, heck, we're looking at 2028 recruits right now. So it's, you're going to blink and it's going to be here. But I say all that to say this. We're getting to that point of the show where we're rounding third. And when you're rounding third, you're headed home. And it's something that you did a lot last year, scored a heck of a lot of runs. But kind of looking ahead to this week, this is what we're all here for. What's the 2026 episode of the Dogs going to be like? And we're going to find out this week. I mentioned we're on the road to find out. We truly are this year. A lot of times we open up at home. This year we're going to head to Dallas, fly into Dallas on Wednesday and take the old short bus ride to Waco and get after it Thursday night, 6:30. We got the Baylor Bears. So a very, very formidable foe. Glenn Moore has done a tremendous job there. Several appearances in the postseason in the World Series. Somebody that's been around a long time. One of his longtime assistant coaches with him used to be a graduate assistant years ago for Coach Polk, Ron Polk, that kind of part of the Ron Polk tree. When you think of Hoot over there, Johnigan. So folks that we kind of have some similar ties to with Mississippi State, particularly through our baseball program. When you think about Glenn and Steve and those guys, and excited to be on the road over there. It's kind of a homecoming for Brian too. Brian's not too far away from Waco, kind of a North Texas guy himself. But we'll open up with them on Thursday, and then it kind of goes into traditional, round robin type tournament format with Northwestern State, a team that we played here last year. They came to one of our tournaments, and New Mexico, the Lobos came here as well last year to one of our tournaments. So get a chance to see them again. It'll be 2 years in a row to play both of those teams, and then Wichita State's the fourth team that's there, and that's a team that we also have some affinity with. Coach Ricketts used to be on their staff, and last time Mississippi State played Wichita State, Ricketts was in the other dugout. So be exciting to play them, and Christy's done a great job. Coach Ricketts speaks so highly of her, and we kind of got a chance to know Christy for a long time since she's been the head coach there at Wichita State. So looking forward to the weekend ahead. Rolling in. What are you most excited about with what you're going to see this week, Sacco, out of our team?
I'm just excited for, again, like the younger players from last year to step up and take on more of the leading role, starting role. I'm very excited for Zian Romero. I think she's one that can step up into a starting role and really just take advantage of it. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Agree. Yeah, she's had a really strong fall and spring. One of our leading hitters in the fall, both in competition between our team and outside competition with some of our outside scrimmages and games we had against some opposing teams. So you're right. Excited about her. Showed some signs last year as a true freshman. Really had some big moments for us last year too. So excited to kind of see her take on more of a role this year. Mia, who is kind of a player that you're excited to see as the 2026 Diamond Dogs take off?
Nadia go all out this year. I think each year she's pretty much gotten better, and she shows that she can do it. And I think from what I've heard, she's been a great leader for the team and just needs to go out and ball, do everything, leave it all on the field, and do her thing because I know she can.
Yeah, she's been a stalwart in our lineup ever since a freshman too, kind of like Mia was as a freshman. You really stepped in right away. She played some shortstop her freshman year, and then it's really kind of been locked down at third the last few years. All SEC third baseman last year, all defensive team at third base last year. Got a pretty cool glove to show off this year that you'll see on TV some. But yeah, hit 400 with runners on base, which was a lot of opportunities because you were always on base and she kind of hit behind you. And so y'all two really were a heck of a 1-2 punch the last two seasons. And it's kind of crazy to think that Nadia is going to be a senior, and she's another one from the early recruiting class. Like Mia, she committed in the 8th grade. And that was a long time ago before the rule changed. And, we feel like we've known her and her mom and dad forever. Her brother now is a giant. He's like 6'3", and we see them and just tremendous mom and dad. Can't say enough good things about Nadia and what she means to this program, and excited for her senior year. And I know she's really taken on a tremendous leadership role for us. Kind of the veteran on the infield, kind of keeps those folks all glued together, and excited to see her take off and really be, you don't want to say the grandma of the team, but she's kind of, she's kind of the longest tenured Bulldog outside of the coaching staff. So looking forward to her and seeing what kind of year she has here as a senior. I've got two, and I hit on one a minute ago. Peja Gold, the 2-time SoCon Player of the Year, littered throughout the top 10 in several pitching categories. She was a huge target for us in the recruiting process, and of course, she had a lot of teams after her too. So a highly touted recruit from Chattanooga, so right in our backyard, kind of, is not too far away, and that proximity kind of being where she was the last few years. Certainly, she understood how close SEC is and close the SEC schools are, and and all that kind of wants to stay in this side of the country. A girl from NorCal, which there's kind of been a lot of NorCal players the last few years. You think about her and Delaney and now Tatum Silva and Coach Ricketts is from San Jose. So quite a big influence in the Northern California area, but excited to see her this year. And the other one is Key Sales. Really had a breakout performance last year for us. Was kind of a role player the first 2 years, would come in little spot moments. But last year, first career hit was off Nyjah Kennedy in a big win against Texas Tech game 1. And all she did was to go double-digit home runs and hit over 300 for us. So excited to see her in year 2 as a full-time starter, and looking forward to seeing what she brings to the table. All right. I think that's I think Brian's giving us a sign to wrap it up. But thank you guys for tuning in. This is the first of many episodes. We'll do this on a weekly basis as we get rolling in throughout the 2026 season. But Sacco, anything you want to say before we sign off?
I will say that I'm also really excited for Nadia. I loved hitting in front of her because I knew she always had my back. If teams wanted to walk me, they had to face her. So I loved hitting in front of her. I will say that. Absolutely.
What about you, Mia? Anything you want to add to the calls here before we sign off?
Hey, good luck this week, guys. I know you're gonna kill it. I've been trying to keep up with the team. I know Ricketts has 2 wins to her 200 career, so that's gonna be nothing for you guys. So I'm just saying good luck and Hail State.
Hail State. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in. We'll touch base with you guys next week. And until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.